Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hot Stove with your hosts, Scott Simpson and Jamie Calandro. Welcome, everybody, to the Fantasy Football Hot Stove. I am your host, Scott Simpson. I am welcomed, as always, by my co-host, Mr. Jamie Calandro. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing great. It's been a full week of school already, and I'm ready for the weekend and for the summer, but I always look forward to these shows that you and I do together every Thursday. So how are you, Scott?
You know, I'm really excited tonight because we actually have had some amazing guests. I mean, from the break, we started off with Field Yates, and as much as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to Field. I'm mesmerized, you know, and after that, we had Matt Waldman. I mean, a godfather of fantasy football, just somebody who I look up to and who spoke to us for an hour and 45 minutes. It was ridiculous. And then last week we have the one and only Denny Carter coming on the show. So it's just been a plethora of amazing guests. We haven't had a chance to chop it up, just you and I. So we decided tonight we don't have a guest on. We had a guest planned. He has rescheduled for a couple weeks out. So he's our guest is still going to be around. So we'll tease that up when we leave. But we're going to do a mailbag episode tonight. And then we're also going to give away and I'm really excited about this because you brought this to the table and you shared it with us. Why don't you share? What are we giving away today, Jamie?
Yeah, so really good news tonight. We are giving away one premium entry into this year's Scott Fish Bowl. And I mean, you know, I didn't bring this to the table. The legendary Scott Fish did. You know, and we're very grateful, Scott, for your generosity in letting somebody be a part of this thing. Scott and I were both in it this year. Very, very excited, and we hope to give this away to someone like us, a teacher who is listening here. I'll let you kind of give that spiel of it. But you know, whoever winds up walking away with this Scott Fish Bowl entry, you are going to have the time of your life this year with it, because it really is, I would say, the best fantasy football experience that I've been a part of.
Oh yeah, I can ditto that, and I've had the chance to be in two Scott Fishes, Scott Fish 9, Scott Fish 10, and the people that I met in those leagues are still my friends now. Shout out Bethany Peters, who's my friend, like my real friend, you know, somebody who I care about. Building relationships is such a cool part of this, and I think that's what, you know, you kind of said you're going to love this experience. You are, because you're going to get to go up against pros. You're going to get to go, with Joes and kind of, build that camaraderie. And we built a league DM on Twitter. And so we had all 12 of us in there. Last year, Sal Vetri was in there. We're all talking to each other in the draft, helping each other out. You know, you're up, and just a real amicable relationships, you know, all built in those Scott Fish Bowl tournaments. And then you get to beat people. You know, there's a camaraderie that comes with the, getting to know each other. Then you talk mad ass. And so I love that part of it. And I don't talk any, by the way. I saw what happened last year to the Podfather. He made like a kill video, you know, he made like a hit video, and he was like, you let me get in gay, you let me get gay. And then the next thing you know, he had like multiple videos coming at him because his team sucked. I don't want any of that heat. I'm not that. Scott is not an S talker because he thinks he's great. You know, he'll talk about himself like looking good, but not about his fantasy prowess, because that's how my dad taught me: pride goes before a fall. I am not gonna make any hit videos because people coming for me. They want blood on the big bearded man. So, how many times have you been in, by the way, or is this your first time in as well? For somebody who's gonna be in today.
No, this is my fourth year in the Scott Fish Bowl, and I'm looking now at you. We should have. If I'd have had more time at home, I wore that shirt you're wearing a few days ago to like promo this thing on Facebook for us, and then I washed it. And it's in the wash right now. It's wet, sitting in the wash just across the basement from me over there. So we could have matched. I wanted to wear that thing on the show tonight too. But yeah, I've been a part of the Scott Fish Bowl. This will be my fourth time in it, and the group chats, like you said, is really, really fun because I was in two in the last one that I was in. Like you said, the ones in your actual league or in your division. But I was also in one. I don't know if you did this. Where it, like, kind of leading up to the draft, I was in a 103 group chat where, when we found out our draft spot, like we were all talking in there, like, what are you going to do with round one, pick 3? when it gets to you. And we were talking strategy, and it was really fun. And, we kept that chat going throughout the actual league too, even though we weren't in each other's divisions. Like, how's your pick going? What do you wish you'd done differently? So that's another really fun part of this too.
Yeah, I did get to get in one of those. Not the first year I was in, because I was kind of just a noob, didn't know anybody, really wasn't hooked up with any fancy friends. But last year I picked pick 6 or pick 7, I forget what it was. And then we had a group chat, and we just all talked, and we shared strategy and who's your quarterback, who are you going for? Oh, okay. And last year was wild because quarterbacks, they were very much there was feast or famine quarterbacks in Scott Fish scoring. And the way it worked last year is it changes every year, by the way. But this year, they didn't change the quarterback scoring. They just added kickers. And so it's not that change from last year. So don't, last year, if you remember, there was negative quarterback scoring regular weeks. You look at people's scores, -15, -10, -25, because quarterbacks, they would get more negative points for interceptions, negative points for incomplete passes. It was just impossible to score points unless your quarterback, ran for the football, ran touchdowns in. Josh Allen crushed. Kyler Murray crushed. Certain types of quarterbacks that were more mobile and got you those points on the ground, they were very, very sought after. And so this whole landscape of the Scott Fish Bowl 10 coming forth in Scott Fish Bowl 11 is going to be cool. You've seen 4 different scoring systems now, though. This is your 4th one, or 5th one. So I'm really excited about it, and we're excited to give it away to somebody. And we do need to thank Scott Fish. I love Scott Fish. He's awesome. And just the way that this brings everybody together and brings people joy, we're excited to be a part of that. But we still have some show we have to do before we get that. So what we're going to do first is we got 2 segments we're going to hit. We're going to hit, of course, our favorite segment that we like to do, which is the Hot Box Hot Seat segment. But today we're turning it on each other. And so Jamie has prepared some questions. I prepared some questions. We're going to give each other the hot seat treatment. And this is brought to you by my guy over there, Bo_McBigTime on Twitter. Go please check him out. Follow him. He makes the world's greatest hot sauce. It is Hot Box Gourmet Small Batch Hot Sauce. You can find it at BigTimeFlavorCo.com. This will make you change your perspective on hot sauces. It's not just something you eat once in a while. I put this on everything from pizza to eggs to sandwiches. I mean, it's ridiculous. So do you have any of this yet, Jamie? Because we give it to our guests. I need to get you some. Have you tasted Bo's yet?
No. All I've heard is us talking about it to all of our guests, and I wipe the drool off the side of my mouth a little bit every time we do, but I've never had it.
Apologies. That is my bad. I'm going to get on that. You're going to be the one getting the bundle this week. So the bundle still goes out. It goes out to you. But nice. Please check Bo out. All right. So, Jamie, why don't you hit me with the first question? I'm ready to roll. I can take the heat, I think.
All right. So since we're kind of teacher themed today, I did want, we're gonna do football too, but we want to go off the cuff a little bit. Since we're teacher themed, we're giving away a Scott Fish entry to a teacher who's joining us, like the 2 of us. So the first one I got for you is a bit of a teacher question. So choice of 3. So as a teacher, would you rather A, eat cafeteria lunch for an entire year every day, B, have the school day last an extra 90 minutes every day, or C, have one parent-teacher conference day every week for the entire school year?
Oh my gosh, man! Those are all like death by whatever that topic was. So like you pick your topic and it's death. If I could, I would choose the cafeteria meal every day.
I knew you were gonna.
Yeah, here's why. You're getting pizza every Friday at least. So once a week you're getting something that resembles food. And I'm sure also that I could just get by on the popsicles. You don't know about the popsicles and like the fruit cups and stuff and little extra stuff. They've got tons of that. I'm going to be eating that the whole year. I'm never staying late. This is a secret for Scott. I get there right when the bell rings, when we're supposed to be there, and I leave right when I'm supposed to. I do all my work while I'm at school. I bust my ass, as they say. I don't take breaks. Lunch, I go down to the cafeteria or wherever I'm going to eat now. I guess I got to eat the cafeteria, scarf down my lunch in like 5 minutes, get back to class, grade everything, put everything in, get ready to go. I do teach elementary school, third grade's my jam right now. So it's not as arduous as maybe prepping for your, 80 member band or whatever it is that so you're crushing it a little bit more than I am in the elementary level. So yeah, I would say that. And also, by the way, 90 extra minutes a day is terrible.
That's I see one of our guests here in the chat picked that one. I thought that was the worst one by far.
Oh, Chris, man, you're crushing me, bro. That would just suck my soul out. I'll tell you one time in England, I taught in the UK. I did a full day of teaching, and then there was 33 kids in my class, and this was back-to-back days. I had parent-teacher conferences from 4 o'clock until 8 o'clock, both days, and then you had 10 minutes with each family, and that was it. And in here in the States, I get half days. We do that in my county on half days. So you go first, half a day of school, lunch, kids leave. Then you have the second half of the day for parent conferences, which makes sense. It does not make sense to do a whole day and then to talk to 30 people after that. Like that was two of the worst days I've ever had as a teacher. I think I went to several local pubs after that and enjoyed mini libations in the UK. So
I've done it both ways you described too.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah, and you know what? I like Arch in the comments are saying the free lunch. Yeah, you're getting free lunch.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
To pay top dollar for it, it might be a little bit worse. So yeah, we do. We've got a couple choir here today, which I like.
See, so Chris, I'm also a music teacher like you, and I thought of that. The fact that, my day is extended well past 90 minutes after school every day. Anyway, I actually got home about half an hour before we started this show today. I'm picturing it getting tacked on to the extra 90 minutes of extra school, and that makes it even worse for me. But I did think of your angle there too.
Yeah, well, it's a good question. All right, I got another school question for you. We've all done this before as teachers, and if you say you haven't, you're lying, because there's so many things going on. You've all done this, and Jamie, I know you've done this too, because I've done it, and I confess my sins. What is the longest you've ever forgotten about a student who you've sent to the hallway, or maybe not even sent to the hallway, but sent out of your sight for another reason, and then you just kind of lose track of them because there's so many that you're managing and working with? How long would you say?
Yeah, that has definitely happened on more than one occasion. And I'm thinking of the one poor kid now back in the school I taught in New York. We had block scheduling in one, which would wind up being 80-minute periods. And he irritated me pretty early on. So I was just like, I'm not dealing with you today. And, it wasn't like a thing that it was a major offense that I had to send him down to the principal's office and write him up. I was just like, you can't be in here right now. You're being counterproductive. Right. This is just a negative atmosphere right now. Go in the hallway, cool off. I'll let you back in. And we were required to, because unfortunately there had been like a lot of bomb threats in the areas lately. So we had this pretty strict security schedule. Where like we had to have our doors locked at all times, and we had to have like cardboard over the window so nobody could see in. So I put him out there, and I just forgot. So he was out there for a good hour, I would say.
Oh,
and the door was locked, so he couldn't come back in, and it's banned. So we're making a lot of noise. So I don't know if he knocked or anything like that, but yeah, good hour out there in the hall. I apologize to him afterwards.
That makes sense though, because of all the noise and the stuff. In second grade, where I taught before, I just started doing third grade. I did second grade 15 years, so an hour would be way too long for a second grade. I definitely forgot a kid for like 30 minutes one time though, and another teacher was like, "Hey, our little friend's in the hallway. I don't know what's going on out there," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to go talk to him. Thanks for I'm going to go talk to him right now." But yeah, and as a teacher, you're not trying to neglect anybody, but I got 30 kids in my class, and I'm trying to give my attention to. I like the atmosphere of second grade and third grade because everybody is about to be autonomous. They're not everybody, but they're all growing in their autonomy. So a lot of times you can set them and then forget them and then go help a couple other ones who need the support that they need. And so I just happened to set and forget. And one of the guys I set was out in the hallway. So, that happens sometimes. But okay. All right. Let's jump away from school. I know there's some other questions here, some sports related content, trying to get to know each other in the sports sense as well. Why don't you fire at me? Take me down with your next one.
All right. So I'll come back at you with that. Like they said, well, we're football based. So before we get into the fantasy aspect, so question for this, and I'm actually kind of paraphrasing something I saw recently, and kind of taking it up a little bit of a notch. So let's say this. So if you were offered $1 million, but by taking it, it means that one team that you root for could never win another championship in your lifetime. You would never see them win another championship again. Would you take the money? And who would be the team that would unknowingly be left out to dry for the 70, 80 years or however long you put in.
This would have been a hard one before. About 10 years ago, I would have begrudgingly given up, the then Redskins, now Washington football team, for the million. Man, as soon as this question came across the board, I was just like writing the check out to myself. I was like cashing the $1 million. I was ready to go. Give me the money. I don't care if the Washington football team never wins again. I hope Dan Snyder, never wins again. And my $1 million, I turn it into, my own football club, and then I come and I win a championship before he does. That's what I hope too. So I'm a little bitter, by the way, because I used to love the Washington football team as a child, and I watched somebody who was a fan like me ruin that franchise out of ego and hubris and whatever it is that guides him. I don't know what it is, but it's not football acumen, it's not intelligence, it's not human kindness or any type of virtue that I would say is indicative of melding together and building a championship. So for me, give me that milli real quick.
I love the comments too that all the fans of failed teams are selling them right up the river.
Oh yeah, of course. You know who you couldn't sell right now? The Browns. Shout out Gabby and all the Browns fans. They wouldn't even. They go, no, I never take that million. Light on fire. I love it when people get like that young fan love, that up and coming team. It's just so cute. The Bills were that way last year too. All those drunk Bills Mafia fans, shout out your broken bones, you animals. Okay. All right. That was good. I like that one. Okay. So, fair play. I've got one for you.
All right.
Okay. So what is the worst? I'm going to transition a little bit here into fantasy. I love it, but I'm asking you, what was your worst fantasy pick last year? Like the guy you touted, the guy you were on, the guy that you were like, this is one of my guys. And not because of injury. Injuries don't really count because you can't predict injury. But let's just say he underperformed. And if you got nobody, man, hats off, cheers to you, toot your own horn, do the victory lap.
Yeah, usually for me, I'm generally, I do. It's a tough one. I have a couple of different answers here. Usually for me, my mistakes in fantasy come with who I don't pick rather than who I do. My one consistent mistake in fantasy is kind of being a day late on certain players. And I'm actually, I'm working to remedy that this year, whether it's I'm overreaching for something. I tend to play fantasy football like I play, I'm a cash game player in DFS. So it's all about safety and floor. And I don't ever go for that home run play around early. So, like last year, everyone's taking DK Metcalf in the late second, early third round. I'm thinking like, I just, Tyler Lockett's there. I can't see that he's going to do that kind of an ADP. And of course he did. We had an argument with our colleagues at Fantasy Team Advice here in our chat as we were setting up the draft guide. And the big argument was, that two of our, of course, GPP players who do that home run ball were saying like Deontay Johnson is the Pittsburgh wide receiver to own this year. He's going to outperform Juju in all aspects of the game. And I, of course, was on I've seen Juju do it before. He's a PPR floor guy. I want Deontay over him. And they're saying I want him over Deontay. And they're saying no, we'll bet money that Deontay's going to get at least 90% of his target share, if not more, and he's going to do more with it. And I just hadn't seen Deontay do that yet, so I couldn't sign off. And they were right on that. So that for me is more, the failures that I could say in last year. But I will say, and this is very unlike me, the one time I did shoot for it, I was playing in one league that was PPR, but it was 1.25 PPR for running backs. So it valued the pass catching running back a little bit more than the grinders. So I had the 7th pick, and I'm sitting there in the first round with the 7th pick, and Derrick Henry's sitting there with me, who is a monster in fantasy and the safest thing. And I just got swept away in the Edwards-Hilaire talk, thinking what he was going to be doing in that Chiefs offense out of the backfield, and I took him over Derrick Henry in that league. So.
You
Yeah.
Davis addict yourself, man. That's terrible.
I did.
Oh,
I did.
man. Oh man, I'm not gonna. I picked Michael Thomas last year. I touted Michael Thomas. I was just all up Michael Thomas's, whatever. And not only did he, suck, but he got beat up at practice. He got called slant boy. It was a bad time. So, but we learned. And also, here's the thing: who knew? 371 carries. That's insanity. That's insanity, folks. It's like 60 more carries than anybody else. It's just nuts. So, okay. All right. Now, I'm going to double dip here because the last one you're going to give to me is going to be a bit of a story. So I'm going to ask you a question here. This is a proverbial what if, and it's related to having a time machine. It's a little preview of an article I wrote about rookie running backs and a time machine. So I'm kind of like, soft pedaling my time machine article here, but I'm going to ask you, and this is an ethical question. If you had access to a time machine, right, would you ever consider going back to your home league draft and guaranteeing yourself a winner? Personally, I've never won my home league. I've won lots of other leagues. My home league is that one it's gotten away. Now, here's the thing. I'll tell you my answer after yours, but I want to know, would you do it just once? You knew you'd win. You could talk mad ass, but you knew you cheated. Would you do
it? So just to clarify here. So basically, I have a time machine to go back to 2017 or 2020 even. Yeah. Knowing what I know is about to happen in the season and my league mates don't, would I do it? Are we talking a free bragging rights league or are we talking for money here?
No, we're talking money. We're talking not that, you're going to be stealing lots of money. It's not about the money per se, but it's where the memes are made. It's that group of people in your chats that are just memeing each other and mocking each other and are just like, my head has been on that black guy, may he rest in peace, with the huge dong. That guy sitting on the bed and people always send him around. You've seen him?
That's the way you were talking about for a second there.
You know what I'm talking about, okay. Right? Yeah.
No, I do.
Yeah, I am all in that DM in my BFFs league with my face on him all the time. All the time. And so if I won a championship, I have a feeling that some of those things would go away. And so maybe I'm living out my own, kind of sick, twisted thought here by, offering you this, cheating opportunity. But yeah, what do you think? Would you do it? Push comes to shove. No one knows. I don't know. You just by yourself alone and you got that championship belt. Does it feel tainted or would you not do it?
Scott, we are representing the fantasy community here right now. We're broadcasting to people, to anyone that's listening.
Tens of people. Yeah, tens of people.
People are going to watch this on replay, and I would love to sit here and say, I would never do that. None of you shy. I would definitely do. I definitely would. Yeah, I definitely would go back and take this advantage.
I think I would do it a certain year. I don't know if I like. There was 1 year where I did win the championship. Technically I did. But what had happened was the NFL didn't recognize the play. So my guy, Terrell Owens, caught a touchdown. He ran and he got tackled and it was a touchdown. And then they said down at the 1 inch line. And then they were like, we've got Marion Barber. So who cares? Let's just ram it on in. We're not even going to review it. And I was playing Marion Barber and that 6 points went away from me and it went to my opponent. I lost that game by 1 point to that opponent. I lost the bye that year as well because of that game. That was the game before the bye, whatever it was. I lost in the first round. Every other my points I would have won. I would go back to that year and I would just, change out and manipulate myself a little bit to help me win. But I can't in good faith knowingly go back because it would just make me feel bad by myself. Because then people be like, I'm so proud of you after all these years, Scott. Like after all these years, they just lift me up, like, yeah, look at him. And I would just feel like shit, And so I'm not a better man than you. I just can't handle guilt. I would just feel like garbage. So
there are things I feel guilty about, and I really don't think this would be one of them.
I like it, man. I wish I could, I'm just very proud. I'm a very proud person. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah. So speaking of your home draft, I got one more question for you. We're on this home draft question. So we were chatting a little bit, and you mentioned a couple of things, but I would love to know the full thing, and I'm sure our listeners, well, maybe they won't, but I think they will. I'm sure our listeners will be interested. What is your wildest fantasy draft night story?
Okay, so I'll just say this. People know Scott likes to have a few beers now and again, and I do keep it pretty chill. But back in the day, I would say 10 years ago, we were wild. All my friends we were kind of wild guys. We had one friend who had a bay house down on the Chesapeake Bay down in Maryland, and it was a secluded place. You could walk out in about, maybe 2 feet of water to a huge sandbar. You could crab, you could, drink, whatever, bonfires in the middle of the ocean kind of type. It was great. It's awesome. So we go down there, and one of my friends decides he's going to steal another one of my friend's Adderall, and he just starts taking them. We have no idea he's doing this. He starts taking them. He gives us all one. We don't really know what's going on. We're just, drinking beers. And next thing you know, it's like 5 a.m. We've stayed up all night, and see the sunrise. We've just had the best time of our lives, just enjoying ourselves. We all go to bed really tired because it's Saturday morning and the draft is at like 5 o'clock that night. My friend has taken so many Adderall, he is like cracked out of his mind. He goes to bed at 7:30 a.m. He wakes up at 4 o'clock and he feels like he's going to die. He looks like he's going to die. He has a blanket draped over him. He's like, guys, this is the worst draft ever. I can't believe this. Blah, blah. I knew all this was going to happen, kind of. Well, I knew he was going to get hammered. I know he's going to take all the Adderall. I had planned a lotto ticket, a fake lotto ticket prank on him. And I bought real lotto tickets, and I had 10 real lotto tickets, 1 fake lotto ticket. The fake lotto ticket was worth $50,000. If you win, you get $50,000. And so I passed out all the real ones to people. And the year before I had been a jerk. And so I just apologized to the league. I said, guys, I'm really sorry about this. Last year I was a jerk. I left. I went to the UK. I wrote like a manifesto against you guys. I'm sorry. Please forgive. Here's a lotto ticket. If you win, you have to split it with me. And so, people win like $2, $5. I'm like, split it. And then my friend, he wins $50,000. And he goes, he's literally going to die. He feels like he's going to die. He jumps out of his coma. He's just like, I just won $50,000. He just starts dancing around the draft. Meanwhile, I had planned this, and I had asked one of my friends to record him doing this. And my friend is recording. The whole draft is just, it went from everyone's hungover. It's tough. We're about to draft to we're millionaires. Like we're dancing around. We're just going crazy. Everyone's just like, we just won 50. Like we also went from like my friend to it's just the best part ever. My other friend, Mike Collins, over there at the Fancy Millionaires with me, he's like, okay, let's go. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look. Calm down. He reads the back. It says for all orders or all winnings over $25,000. Like, yep, that is. He goes, mail this to Santa Claus at the North Pole. My friend could have murdered me after that. He was paying off his school loans. He was refining his house.
Oh.
He was just living it up. He had the worst season of his life in fantasy. And that was my purpose. My whole goal with that whole spiel was just to get him excited before the draft and then to crush his soul so that his team would suck. And it worked. And we didn't do that anymore. We did not party hardy like that. That was the last year. Personally, I've been sober every single draft since then, pretty much, because I don't want anyone to do that kind of stuff to me. I want to be, very singular focused on my draft and be real annoying. So that's what I do. That was my wild story of, late night debauchery and then trickery, which makes it really fun.
Unbelievable.
He's still my friend too. So,
That's good. It's a sign of true friendship.
Yeah, I was a little diabolical. Well, I'll tell you what he did as a joke. He and my other friends designed a whole party, a fake going away party for another friend, said he was moving out of the country, and took about 70 beers and they emptied them out and then they put O'Douls in them and then they threw a party and then they O'Douled everybody. We called it Doolies, and they gave O'Douls to everybody, and then everybody was just drinking O'Douls all night thinking they were drinking beer. There was no beer in the whole house. None. Like, it was just the worst, and everyone thought they were drunk too. It was so stupid. So, they kind of got us back, but not really. But yeah. Anyway, I digress. Okay, well, that was a little bit of the hot box, hot seat with Scott and Jamie. So we gave you a little bit of our experiences in fantasy and as teachers as well. This is the new segment we're going to do today. I'm really excited about it. It was Jamie's idea. And no one ever has done this before in any other fantasy show. And so that would that's unique. It's called the mailbag.
Yeah, I just came up with that all on my own one day.
Yeah, and at first I thought it meant, we're both males and never mind. Then I realized, put two and two together. This is going to be a segment where we actually get solicit questions from our fans. And so we did. And so this is our first ever mailbag. It's brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. It is the best ball site to draft, period. Best Ball Mania 2 is happening right now. You can win $1,000,001. I got to tell you, if you sign right now, free $25 will be added, deposited to your account when you sign up. Use code NABENIMBLE. It's worth it. I only have 37 teams I've drafted in Best Ball on Underdog, so I'm kind of light on Best Ball right now. But we're going to go through. The first question comes to us from our friend FF Shane B, my man Shane Barrett of the FF Astronauts, and he asks us what rookie that was not drafted in the first round is going to make the biggest splash. And so I'm going to try to do a little producing here, share my screen, pull up our rookie wide receivers. We can't do any of these first couple guys. Chase is out, Waddle, Smith, Kadarius Toney, and Rashad Bateman. So we're going to start here with Elijah Moore, and I'm going to let Jamie jump out there first and share who is his guy in the second round on for wide receiver this year.
Yeah, I'm really a big fan of Terrence Marshall this year. I'm a bigger fan of him long term, but I think he could play a key role for Carolina right away. You're talking about a field stretching guy who gives Carolina another speed receiver. Obviously, fighting for targets is a problem in that offense when you have Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and a healthy Christian McCaffrey, but I mean, you're talking about a guy who scored 23 touchdowns in his final 2 seasons in college. And we know one thing we know about Sam Darnold. There's not a lot we know about Sam Darnold because his offense has been just so disjointed, and he's been injured, and he's had mono, and there was something else with him that he was out for a weird reason. But we know he favors those slot receivers, and Marshall to me looks like somebody who can step right into that role right away, especially in PPR leagues, be a key producer pretty quickly for Carolina. So love him in Dynasty, but he's someone that I'm taking kind of later in the startup and the redraft leagues as well.
No, I really like that too. And you look at his big body. He's 6'3". You want that. You want those tall wide receivers. He's fluid. He's able to make those contested catches as well. And you need that. You need that in the slot. You need that across the field. I like that. That's an excellent pick. Mine is also a slot receiver, and I got to scroll up a little bit. It shifted over here to running backs. My guy is Elijah Moore. And here's the thing about it. It really is contingent, though, on what happens with Jamison Crowder. And I think that Jamison Crowder gets moved before the season starts for the Jets. That's just my prognosis and my prognostication. It could not happen. And then Elijah Moore's breakout is going to wait a little bit longer. But I do think that if Elijah Moore starts the season in that slot role, he's going to be dynamic. He's going to stretch the field. He's going to give Zach Wilson just a weapon that he can trust underneath and that can get some yak for him. And so I like Elijah Moore. I like the skill set that he brings to the NFL. I think he's one of the most polished receivers, ready for the NFL receivers, who doesn't need to work on a lot of his game to get right in there and get plugged in. So that's somebody who I'm targeting. I've been getting him a lot in my best ball draft that I've been doing on Underdog. I haven't done any redrafts yet that are real, but when I do know Elijah Moore will be one of those later round targets that I'm going after. I love Terrence Marshall this year too as a later round pick. What do you think about Elijah Moore? Is he somebody that you're considering, or are you kind of fading him because of the Zach Wilson inexperience, kind of deer in the headlights vibe he's giving off so far?
No, I don't have any problem with the Jets receivers any more or less than I would have. I mean, honestly, I think, we kind of knew what was at quarterback for the Jets the last few years, and Zach Wilson could be a bust, but he could also elevate him. So yeah, I'm in on the Jets receivers, and I agree with you with Moore because I also think that Crowder is going to be released by the Jets sooner rather than later. It's after June 1st. I thought it was going to have happened already because I think it's like $10,000, $10 million now being post June 1st that they could save. So I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, honestly. But I think it's a foregone conclusion that he won't be there. They don't need to be paying him that.
No, and they're in a rebuild. Jamison Crowder is an assassin. You know what I mean? He's a mercenary now. That's what I'm thinking his role would be. He's a veteran. He knows what he's supposed to do. He comes in, he plays the slot. He runs down the field as fast as he can and gets the football. And there you go. You know, I'd love to see him on the Chiefs. Honestly, that would be my team to go to give Crowder a nice little bump this season as having some value. Or the Jets, I think he's kind of passed. That was the old regime too. It's a new set of. I mean, I know that the coaching staff and the front office is not new necessarily, but the coaching staff is. And so you do want to bring in your guys. And I feel like they're making, especially with Michael Carter and with, Elijah Moore, they're putting their stamp on what they think the weapons that they're going to use and what it's going to look like. So, we'll see about that. Okay. Man. Oh, my next favorite one, we're talking zeros. So,
so we had this, we talked about zero RB extensively with Denny Carter, our guest last week. So, we didn't have this question for him to talk to. So this comes to us from Best Ball UK. And the question is, with the popularity of zero RB and hyper fragile running backs this year, should we all be going robust running back instead? So that's an interesting one. And that's, Denny really touched on that a lot. So we get to weigh in now. So Scott, what do you think of that? Should we be all going robust running back in these drafts?
I'm actually not going robust running back. And I'll tell you the reason why is because I've looked at the rookies that are coming in, and I think there's some value there, particularly in the PPR kind of arena. I only play PPR league. I don't play standard leagues. I play PPR. That's just kind of what I do. So everything I talk about is really kind of the PPR based, DraftKings based. Yeah, that's what it is. It's PPR league. So I'm liking, ETN this year. I'm liking, Trey Sermon, Michael Carter, some of these back end running backs that you can get in like the 7th, 8th rounds of drafts, maybe even further in your home leagues, kind of a rookie slide a little bit more. I kind of like them to kind of not do a zero RB. I don't like doing that. I want to leave my first 5 picks, probably 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers. That's probably what I'm going to do. But if Josh Allen falls to me at the 5th pick in a redraft, I'm going to pounce on Josh Allen. There's certain players that I will mess up my game plan for because their value is so great. And so I might be looking for a single, wide receiver in the 2nd round, but Najee Harris is there and I can't pass up the value where I'm at and I got to grab him, so it's all going to kind of be dependent. But my desire this year is not to just to smash running back, because this is what people have said. And this is the theory, and I'm not against zero RB completely, but I don't like the idea of zero. I like the idea of 1 stud RB. That's what I like, because you've seen that you do need somebody. We don't have 300-point scorers at running back, across the first round anymore. You get a couple of them. There's not workhorses like in the early 2000s where you just had every running back you knew you were going to pick was going to be scoring you lots of points. So I think if you could get a Derrick Henry, if you get Alvin Kamara, if you can get a Nick Chubb or an Austin Eckler this year, I want those guys. And so I might double up and go 2 running backs, but I'm not going to be hammering 3 and 4 to start, because then you're just bypassing a lot of value at wide receiver. And so I think I might go, and it depends on what happens, but I think I might end up going 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, or 3 running backs, 2 wide receivers in that first 5, and being fluid with it. What about you? How do you see running backs, and when there's a fragile, hyper fragile situation, do you grab as many as you can, knowing some may break, or do you try to be strategic in the ones that you pick?
Yeah, I'm a little bit more in the line of solidifying myself at that position early on if I can, just because especially this year, just because like you mentioned and like Denny mentioned last week that wide receiver is just so deep this year. Like I don't need Tyreek Hill, and like Devontae Adams, any of those top receivers, even though there's such a high floor, such a high ceiling play. But I'd rather be right now hammering those running backs that I know have more than just a committee and are doing their stuff in that offense and are getting that red zone work, and then taking the McLaurins and the Amari Coopers and Keenan Allens of the world in that third, fourth, fifth round, and really rounding out the team that way. So I'm kind of with you. At least one stud running back. I can't do the zero RB thing. I just can't.
Yeah, and Denny was in a league with me last year where he went, one RB, single RB, and then went, 7 straight wide receivers. That running back was Saquon. He got hurt. Denny still got third in our league, and the reason was we had, I think, a total of 3 or 4 flexes total. Like, you could start 4 wide receivers, and so he loaded up and he had all of these stud wide receivers. He beat me by 2 points. You know what I mean? To get third place, and it wasn't like he blew anybody away. So I think what you're looking at too is that, you could do Denny's strategy, but you got to be really good at it. If you're going to do zero RB, you need to have a thorough understanding of not only RBs, but wide receivers too. You got to know up and down and really know your stuff. If you're going to do kind of more of a value-based system, or kind of this is somebody who I think has more like upside, then there's a different way to approach it. I think many roads lead to championships, and what you really need is somebody to go off in week 16. That's what you need. A week 15, 16 go off. Like last year, you had Alvin Kamara scoring 6 touchdowns. That's what won people championships. You also had Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs combining for like 4 touchdowns and 500 yards or something. So those kinds of things win championships at the end. Not necessarily that you did a certain strategy and this is what it beat everybody. So I'm totally open to being fluid and flexible and being water. But I do like watching all these strategies and having people do zero RB and zero running back and zero wide receiver, and you're just like, okay, all right, It's
fun to see. It's fun to watch it all play out too.
Yeah. Okay. Another question up here. This is from my man Peng's Picks FF. My man Davis Peng.
Oh, nice.
He says, who is your biggest fantasy value play? And he talked about in his tweet the outperforming their ADP. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do is kind of quick because we don't want to take up too much of your time today, and we still have to give away our Scott Fish entry as well. We're going to run through the ADP real quick and just touch on some players from each of the position groups. We'll start at quarterback. Who is 1 or 2 guys that you think is a real value at quarterback this year who you're going to be targeting in redraft?
I'm going to get killed for the homer pick here, but it's Daniel Jones for me. I mean, we've been talking about this extensively in our Discord chat on site, and I'm highly vocal about this with a lot of my Giants Kingdom out there on Twitter that, this is it for him. They've got him the weapons that he needs. He is, believe it or not, was the most accurate deep passer in the NFL this past year, which is shocking to me to believe.
True.
But his deep ball completion percentage was 46.2% on pass plays over 30 yards. And then when you add in that rushing floor that he brings, I know Barkley will be back, but you add in that rushing floor that he brings, I'm definitely in on him, hot on him in 2 quarterback leagues, and I'm even okay using him if I miss out on that first wave in redrafts of taking him and another one and streaming them. So, but I'm in this year.
Well, you can get him all over the place because he's getting drafted as in 12-team leagues in the 16th round. So it was one of the first picks in the 16th round. 189th in ESPN, FFPC 145, 151 in Best Buy. Yeah, you can get him. I like that. My guy is only a few spots above him. Actually, just one. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzmagic, baby. I do love me some Fitzmagic. I am going to try to interview him this year. It's one of my life goals to sit down and talk with that man. Of course, dressed up as Ryan Fitzpatrick.
We're not going to be able to tell who's who on there.
That's exactly right. And my sunglasses aren't around here. I'd pop them on and get into my chest hair would have to come out. It'd be a whole thing. But I love Fitzpatrick this year. He has, and this is the thing we don't always know. We don't always think about it. I'm pulling up his fantasy data from fantasydata.com. His averages when he's got to actually play 17 fantasy points a game, 16, 20 fantasy points in 2018. When he's given the opportunity, he can get points. He can score points. He is a gunslinger. He wants to throw the football. 20 touchdowns, 17 touchdowns. He's at 31 touchdowns, 24, 20. This guy might be old, but he is there for he wants the action. He's about that action boss, as my man Bowman Big Time likes to say. And so I do think he's got a chance to really outperform his ADP. and he's somebody who you can just pick up as a late flyer as well. Might not even get drafted in your league. And so I like Fitzpatrick this year. I'm going for Fitzmagic. What do you think as we jump over here to the RBs? What do you think of Fitzmagic? Yay, nay? Are you in on the Washington football team this year?
Yes. I think that because of him, Terry McLaurin has the upside of like wide receiver one, overall wide receiver one. I know that's, a little bit dicey to put him in that tier, but I mean, just given what he's done with the quarterback play that they've had, I mean, their quarterbacks were awful last year. And he still put up high-end wide receiver numbers. And the other thing with Fitzpatrick, that he's been a bench warmer or not a bench warmer, a field warmer. I don't know. Yeah. He's putting out there before the young quarterback takes over. But I mean, they don't have that right now. I mean, he's the guy for them, at least for the time being. And I don't see that changing, at least this year. They're not going to get a rookie quarterback sometime mid-year. They're not going to go out and trade for a big-time one. So, I mean, we get him for a season. So, yeah, why not? Why not?
Yep. Let's roll the dice. Over to running back real quick. Who's somebody, it could be a top 10, it could be further down. Who's somebody that you think will outperform the ADP this year by a significant amount?
It's funny with running backs, too, because it's funny that I mentioned how I got burned by Edwards-Helaire, but given his ADP now, where, I mean, what do you got him going there? He's got to be around what?
17? Yeah,
16.
17 RB. Yeah.
I'll happily take him there. I mean, as part of that high octane Chiefs offense, they have a brand new offensive line, so they can commit to the run game a little bit more. I mean, he could wind up. He has top 5 upside. Yeah. And then on the other hand, we could see more of the same, where he gets 7 carries a game, and it's, he winds up being just too unpredictable to feel confident in. But I mean, I think we're going to need to really, really watch training camp reports just to see what that offense is looking like. But I mean, with his receiving ability, I think he could be a steal at that ADP.
Yeah, I love that too. And I mean, when he's going 105, 106 last year, your value is nil. You got no value. It's all up front. You're paying. It's like paying the most expensive price on something immediately as soon as it comes out. You're like, I want that. I'm going to pay top dollar for it. It's going to depreciate in a week. Just wait. And that has come. Now we're depreciating. It's a little bit more reasonable. I like that a lot. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go down pretty far on my value chart down here. And you know what? You might just go, well, you're going too far. Damien Harris right now is the RB 37 for New England. I am a big truther for Damien Harris. I started the truth call last year. I said I think that he would overtake Sony Michel. He did last year. He outperformed Sony Michel. And I think that he has the inside track to be that RB1 in that offense this year consistently the whole year. And so I know the Patriots want to run the football. Bill Belichick just wakes up and he's like, establish the run. No, I must. So I'm into Damien Harris at that price. It's ridiculous. In the 9th round, give me all the Damien Harris. It's just, and there's other guys in that round too. I like right after him, Kenyon Drake. I like too, but Damien Harris just has, I think, upside rushing in that offense. He's not going to PPR you to death, but he is going to be consistent. If he can get the touchdowns and the goal line equity, that will just seal the deal for me. And 37, I think he could be an RB2. If you finishes, running back 20, that's 17 spots I've gained on the field in that position by drafting him in the 9th round. So I love my man Damien Harris. All right. Well, let's jump through. We got wide receivers, tight ends, and then we're gonna, quickly wrap it up so we can give away our Scott Fish spot. Yeah. Wide receivers, where are you finding value? Because you talked about a few of them already. I didn't know if you're going to go back to the Terry McLaurin because at wide receiver 12, he is being drafted as a wide receiver 1, but the last wide receiver 1, or if you had a new friend for us.
Well, he definitely is an answer that I would give to this question, but I have to double down on, because I've answered a lot of people's tweets. I have to double down and publicly proclaim the Chase Claypool love that I have this year. And we're talking the Pittsburgh passing game is fascinating to me. In that people are so down on it and rightfully so, just with the eye test of what Ben Roethlisberger looked like as the season went on there.
Dead would be the word. Dead.
Yeah. And also the fact that drafting Najee Harris in the first round, also having a new offensive coordinator, it makes you wonder. And I could be this could blow up in my face. This new offensive coordinator, they could just transition to a run-first defense team and just have it be that way. But I don't see that happening. Even with what you want to call 50% Ben Roethlisberger last year, he was still QB 14 on the season, almost a QB 1. All three of those wide receivers finished within the top 25 in PPR leagues. Claypool was wide receiver 14. Now, I know you can look at his 4-touchdown game and point to that. That thing really kind of skews the fantasy points per game aspect. But we're talking about a guy who was 3rd in the league in deep targets, 4th in the league in unrealized air yards, top 10 in actual air yards, top 5 in yards per routes run. And the offensive coordinator that they have installed in there, he's the one that they were crediting all last year with all the creative plays that they used for getting Claypool into space, using him out of the backfield and as that gadget player. So this, for me, I've stamped this on Twitter already. I think he's this year's DK Metcalf. Like, we're going to be talking about him as a 2nd-round pick next year in even redrafts, just based on what happens here. Now, I reserve the right to backtrack on that at all if there's uncertainty about who his quarterback is going to be. But I think based on talent alone, he's going way too low, and he's going to win people leagues this year. Me included, because I'm jumping on him.
I love that. And just as a great omen here, on CBS, he's getting drafted right now at the 69th position. And then over here on the
nice. I like it even better now.
69 as well. I think that you're right. Chase Claypool passes the eye test. Not that you have to have it, but he does. He passes the eye test. He's a grown-ass man, as they like to say. And I think it's a great pick. I'm going to go a little further down here. I'm going to say Robbie Anderson at wide receiver 33. I know you talked about Terrace Marshall. Robbie Anderson is better than that. He's just
contract year.
He's contract year. This guy, and guess what? Guess who his best seasons were with? Sam Darnold, for some reason, right? And so we have Robbie Anderson reconnecting with Sam Darnold. I don't think, for me, there's a better opportunity for him to. He came back. We came into a situation last year where he was not familiar with the offense. It was a new team for him. Now this is his 2nd year, no COVID. He's got his old quarterback back. I really like him shooting up here at 33. I think he's going to be in that top wide receiver 2, at the end of the wide receiver. So maybe 23, 24 at the back end of wide receiver 2. Maybe right near with your boy, Chase Claypool. Maybe, Chase Claypool, I think you're projecting a little higher. So maybe mid-round for Chase Claypool or maybe even first round. I don't know. We'll see. I like both those plays, though. Chase is one of my guys this year, too, just like Deontay was one of my guys last year. All right, last not least, tight ends. We're not talking kicker.'re not talking defense. You can do that with Denny if you want to. He'll do both those, by the way. Sorry, I want to make fun of you, but we're not going to do that. Where do you see tight end value this year? And we can't say Kyle Pitts because we all know Kyle Pitts. He's going to be drafted way too early in everybody's league. We're talking late round tight end. Who's a guy you got this year?
He is, and I like the Hunter Henry signing threw me for this because I was all ready to tattoo Jonnu Smith's name on my forehead this year, but I'm still using him as my answer to this question here. Mm-hmm. Just based on the same arguments that I was using when they signed him to begin with, and when I was saying like whoever gets him is getting a steal, just because, I mean, they didn't give him 4 years, $50 million or something around that line to have him be a tight end 2 in that offense. Of course, the signing of Hunter Henry muddies it a little bit, but we've seen Bill Belichick offenses succeed with 2 tight ends, both being TE1s. Tom Brady was the quarterback, of course. I know that. But, with Jonnu, we're talking about a guy who had 9 touchdowns last year, heavily featured in the red zone. He was third among the position in touchdowns, third among the position in fantasy points per target. The reason that he dropped off so much is because Taylor Lewin went down for Tennessee, and they needed him to be more of an inline blocker than a receiver. So, I mean, just given how much he's falling, and I don't know if you got his numbers there for ADP, but just given how much he's falling because of, I don't know, Hunter Henry being there, plus the overall mehness on the Patriot offense to begin with. I like him as my late round TE if I don't get one of the big time guys.
Yeah, he's right now around tight end 16, which is very gettable, going in the 11th round of 12 teams. I like Jonnu Smith. I liked him a lot more, like you said before. Henry came. I said it 3 times. Hunter Henry came. I'll tell you who I like is the guy that kind of replaced Jonnu Smith even last year a little bit when he had to be in line, and that's my man Anthony Fursker, who's down here at tight end 27. I believe, according to my man Jordan Vanek, he ran 91% of the time he ran routes when he was on the field. So if you're going to be using him in that same role this year, I love him. I know he's not a big red zone guy, like you mentioned with your boy Jonnu, but you're getting so much value at tight end 27. He's the 19th round. I don't even have 19 rounds in any of my drafts. So he's free, and I'll definitely be grabbing him in my draft over there with the BFFs this year. So if they're listening, they're not. But if they are, don't you dare get your dirty hands off of Fursker. He's all mine this year. I love him. So, all right, cool. Well, that's excellent. All right, here's what we're going to do. We've teased it a lot. And
he would have been my other answer, by the way. I love him. I'm 100% on board with him, too. If I'm waiting even longer. Yep. Oh, yeah.
So we are simpatico, which is
all right.
Great. All right, so
here's what we're doing. Been looking forward to this.
I'm excited. Here's how this is going to work. It's going to be kind of torturous for the friends. So here's what we have. I'm going to read all the guys, let you know who's involved, give you a little bit about where they are kind of teaching and working and supporting people, so you know kind of what you're who's going to whoever wins kind of what they do. So Chris Archer is working with maths. We've got my man Topher. He is doing choir. Mark is doing math. He's also the wrestling coach. Alex doing the band director, just like my man Jamie here. My man Tim rocking the baseball coach. Boom Bam 13, elementary school teacher for I think 18 years, I think they said. Joe is doing business and guidance. My man Crescent is over there doing mindfulness resource. That's a really important job these days. Oh my gosh, I love it. And then Kronks rhymes with bronze is doing math. So Kronks, I hope you can win to get you the gold this time. Jesse Schuster doing middle school. Sage rocking the basketball coach. And then we got my man Zach doing business education. Zach E, middle school math. And this is how it's going to work, gentlemen. As I spin, if you get selected, you're going to be eliminated. So you do not want your name to come up. That's how it goes. So if you see your name and you popped up and it has a good little sound behind it, it's not good. So the sounds will sound good. But if your name's up there, it's bad.
So good. We're drawing this out.
All right, here we go. I don't want to no longer. Let's see who the first person to be eliminated is and get sent packing. No rose for you. Let's see who it is.
Topher is also the boys and girls swim coach.
Oh, sorry. Zach is gone. Sorry, Zach. Love your brother. I had other people advocating they wanted Zach to win as well. That's a tough first round defeat for my man Zach.
Upset.
Mark is out too. I love Big Mark. Sorry, Big Mark. Music is encouraging, but it's kind of like, not really. All right, we're rolling. Scott Fish did ask me for this spinner.
Okay.
Say, yeah, he said not for this exact one, but how to use this. It's actually a pretty cool little tool here. I give you the music.
This is a new one on me.
Yeah, it's good for games with your students. Oh, Boo Bam! That was my guy. I had a little money riding on Boo Bam. Okay.
So real quick before you go again, well, we'll wait after this one.
Okay, sorry.
I know, Zach. We're sorry.
So I didn't. So here's the problem. I didn't hit I had the wrong button for Kronz. So Kronz is eliminated, but I just hit the wrong button. So if at the end, just ignore Kronz. What were you going to say, Jamie?
So I just a quick tout to our colleagues in this industry too. So if you did miss your chance here, Scott Fish is great. He's given out a ton of these things to our friends in the fantasy industry. So I mean, follow, look for these follows on Twitter. Look out there, follow everybody who's giving away these things. Like, there's plenty of opportunities still to have it happen. So if you don't win this one, this is not like it and done.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Keep this.
No, it's good to know. Scott Fish is a generous, great person. So there'll be more opportunities. Oh, Zach is done. Sorry, Zach.
Zachy.
All right. Remember, Kronz is gone too. I just hit the wrong button, so don't think Kronz is around. Oh, Tim bites the dust. All right, we're running down the last few. And we do have to say, too, thank you to all the teachers. Alex, thank you to all of you. It's been definitely a hard year, and we're really grateful for everybody who's out there teaching children, whether they're, age 4 or 5, all the way up to, high school. Oh, good. Is that Kronz? All right, we knew Kronz was gone. Yeah. Kronz,
poor guy got eliminated twice.
Twice, yeah, he's out twice. Just in case he's got on, he's like, oh, I'm still in. Nope, you're gone, Kronz. All right. Chris, right at the end, Chris gets eliminated. Okay, so let's talk about the final 4. We've got Joe, we've got Topher, we've got Crescent, and Jesse. Oh, man, let the Scott Fish gods be with you right now, everybody. Oh, Crescent. All right,
we're down to 3.
Down to 3. Good thing that shrimp popped in there so we can see that part of the it's a pot sticker.
Prepare.
Oh, Jesse is out. All right, we've got Joe versus Topher. Here we go.
All right, Topher's in the chat too. Joe, are you still here too?
If they're both here.
Here we go.
Oh, it's Joe.
It's Joe.
Joe is our winner.
Congratulations, Joe. You are in the Scott Fish Bowl.
Congratulations. So excited, Joe. Sorry to all the other friends who did not win. Definitely not trying to ruin your night with the eliminator. I just didn't want to. Here's what I thought. I didn't want to spin it one time. You know what I mean? Like, the person had to earn it. It had to dodge the knife many times, not just get randomly winning it once. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, congratulations to Joe. And congratulations to all the other amazing people. I'll put in a good word with Scott Fish as well for you. And we'll reach out to Scott Fish, Joe, and figure out how to set this up. And thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Anything as we get out of here? I know that you've got some stuff coming down the line, or any articles you got to plug. I got some work too over that I want to share. Why don't you share your stuff first?
Yeah. So, while we take this opportunity, please follow us at Fantasy Team Advice. We are doing such quality work at Fan Team Advice over there with DFS and preparing for the upcoming drafts. We have our draft guide, which is state of the art. It's adjusted basically with every piece of news that comes out within minutes. So, if you subscribe to us, I mean, you're going to get that thing running from the minute we get it posted, which will be later on this month, all the way through draft season, and you can react to that. I put out daily DFS articles for MLB and DFS during this season, and then the game-by-game breakdown when the NFL comes out. We got PGA going when that's in session as well, and our Discord chat is full of some of the best guys around. So, I mean, come on over, give us a look. We have all sorts of subscription packages for you to try out, if you don't want to commit to a month or a year or something like that. So again, visit us at www.fantasyteamadvice.com.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm excited because I get to use those tools now that I work for Fan Team Advice. So watch out. I'm going to take everybody's money this year. But you know what? I'm also going to give it back. I'm not just a selfish person. And I finished an article that I wanted to share with everybody. So I am now writing over for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm really excited to be with them. And this is my very first article. It's all about rookie running backs, fantasy football breakouts, and looking to find that value. What I did was I went through a long process here. I collected and see if the link works. I think the link should work. Oh, it downloaded something? Oh, my goodness. I don't know where it's taking me. It should take me to my data, but maybe it didn't take me there. I'll figure it out. But it's making me download my data. Okay. Well, it's just supposed to take me to my page. But I organized all of the data. Oh, wow. It's really taking me to my data. I organized all the data for the last 6 years on rookie running backs. I just took top 10 from each year, their fantasy points, and organized them and looked and see kind of who drafted them, when they got drafted, did their draft matter, and then kind of figured out what was the most important things they needed to be successful. And I analyzed this year's rookie class and talked about Najee Harris, talked about Travis Etienne. My guy in the chat was asking about the projections for my man Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon's in here. I also break down Michael Carter as well. So please do check out all my work there at the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'll be writing for them, DFS and fantasy all season long. My next article is going to come out. It's going to be about rookie wide receivers and when they break out. So I can't wait to publish that as well. Do please go check out my man Bowman Big Time over at Hotbox. It is bigtimeflavorco.com. I love this guy, love his work. And then if you're on the best ball streets, like myself and Jamie, please check us out on Underdog. If you go and you find me on Twitter and you send me a best ball draft, I will get in it. I will. I promise. I will best ball draft with you. I love doing it. I do it every day. So please jump in there with me, codename Nimble, and we'll be back next week. Still working on guests. Coming up, though, we do. You booked Howard Bender.
Yeah, we have Howard Bender coming on with us on the 15th, which will be a special night, not our regular Thursday.
No, on the 17th, I'm going away for a bachelor party. My friend's getting married. He's the last of the friend groups to get married. He's part of that crew. He's part of the BFFs down there at the Bay House. So he's getting married, and so we're going to have to move the show a couple days early. But Howard Bender, and then after that, we have my man Graham Barfield coming on. I'm so excited about Graham coming on. It's going to be great. Tomorrow, I have a show with my man Bo McBig Time, Justin Vanek, over at the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. It is chock-blocked, and we have Dave
Jordan.
Jordan, what do I call him, Justin?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, he's going to kill me. Yeah. Well, here's the problem. For people who don't know, Justin Vanek is a Buffalo Sabres hockey player from the 90s and or maybe 2000s, and I have him in my brain. He's just in my brain. So I'm putting Jordan and Justin together. Jordan Vanek, 1 over on Twitter. Do follow him. And then we're going to have Dave Lofgren on from Osimo. So Lofty's coming on tomorrow. Hats backwards for Lofty. We're going to talk DFS. Please do check us out. And thanks to everybody for checking us out today over here. Jamie, where can people follow you as we get out of here?
JAC3600 on Twitter. You'll find me there frequently tweeting about sports and music and playing video game themes on the piano from school for people to guess.
I love that. Keep doing that. That's one of my favorite things. You can find me at nimblewnumbers.com. You can also follow our show. Please follow our show. It is the FF Hot Stove on Twitter. Easy to remember, easy to follow. We're accepting new follows every single day. Can't wait to see you guys next week. We'll see you guys then. And we're going to do an outro. Jamie, check this out. I'm ready to go with our intro music. I'm just going to do it as the outro music. So peace, everybody. Is it working? There we go.